Yeah, we are live now. We are live here on YouTube. Again, Francis Page Media. Welcome aboard. Right, let's wait for our friends to turn up before we start this live stream. Who do we have coming to join us tonight? Right then, is our sound check good? Let's get that volume up as we wait for our friends to turn up. There you go. Hello, my dear friends. How are you today? I hope you are all doing fine. Welcome aboard to this live stream. Again, Francis Page Media here. I hope every single one of you guys has had a fantastic week so far. A lot has been happening in the world of our British royals, as you have been seeing in the headlines. However, some royals have decided to take a break, as we shall see later on in this live stream. Before I start, guys, I would like to tell you all that these are my own views, and all that we talk about here for educational purposes. So if you're going to contribute to this live stream and to share your thoughts here, please let us be kind to each other, because this is all about us having a bit of fun as we dig through what our royals are doing on a daily basis. So today, again, is another brilliant day here for me. And of course, the week is coming to an end. Today, Thursday, and tomorrow is the weekend. I hope you guys are looking very much forward to the weekend. Wherever you are, drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Tell us what your week has been like. Where are you watching this live from? What sort of stories have really been hot on your side? What things do you like us to talk about? But most of all, how are you finding this Royal News channel? Welcome aboard. Your host here, Francis Page Media, a channel where you always come to catch up with all the latest that is going on in the world of our British royals. So here we go. I hope most of you have heard what is going on in the world of politics. Here in the UK, our government is in such a nightmare state. Of course, our recent Prime Minister, Liz Truss, who had only been nominated as the new Prime Minister, resigns after just 44 days in the office. Interesting. So she goes down as the shortest, the shortest serving time, as the Prime Minister who has served the shortest time in office. Of course, she replaced Boris Johnson only over a month ago. As we speak right now, Boris Johnson is being sort of encouraged to come back and get his job back. Will he return to office? We are keeping our eyes open and our ears very wide. We hope he does, because I don't think he was given that much chance to clean his office up. And maybe this could be an opportunity for him to come and prove to the world that he was indeed meant to be the rightful Prime Minister of United Kingdom. So that brings us to our first news bit today. Our King, His Majesty King Charles III, will be welcoming his new Prime Minister in a week's time. Guys, before I go forward, I would like to check in with you to see if my sound is all right with you. I've got a history of my headphones not working properly, and I'm latching on without the sound. But I hope you've got the sound clear and loud on your side. Please drop me a message in the comment and tell me if You hear me loud and clear. But anyway, King Charles III, His Majesty, will be welcoming his new Prime Minister in a week's time. Let us not forget that it was only a month ago that we saw Liz Truss, who is now the former British Prime Minister, being sort of inaugurated into office by King Charles III. Recently, you all remember very well those popular images of King Charles pulling Liz Truss to come a bit closer because she appeared a little bit. Thank you so much, Sylvia Randall, for that update. You hear me nice and clear. I can confidently move on now. Thank you so much, my dear friend. And great to see you, by the way, on this live. You are making a massive difference sticking around to this Royal News Channel messages. Yes, so we recently, of course, saw King Charles III welcome Liz Truss into the office as his new and first Prime Minister since he became the King of the Commonwealth and United Kingdom. Now, he has seen her leave office today, and he's soon to welcome his new Prime Minister. So that is again going to make King Charles the first king ever to welcome a prime minister in a space of just 40 days. Very interesting. So King Charles III has made history on his side by welcoming two prime ministers successively. In quick succession is the word. And obviously, we never wanted it to be like this because the country is in such a dire moment in terms of its economics and the policies and all that stuff. So there isn't much stability going on because we haven't identified a leader to take us forward in ways that are more meaningful, or to take us forward with policies that are going to be addressive to the problems of the country. So Liz Truss has been defeated with her policies, and now we are going to see a new prime minister again coming through, of course, that stiff competition of 1 week where they are going to be nominated, and then the one who will be finishing first or top of the ballot will be welcomed by King Charles III. So we hope that Boris gets his job anyway. Contenders include Rishi Sunak. Most of you saw him. He was on the ballot last time for the last leadership sort of competition. And then apparently the former Home Secretary is also running. I think, Suella Braverman? She's also running. And who else? And quite a few faces there. But we hope Boris maybe reclaims his position. Anyway, so that's what is going on right now in the UK. The country is still looking for the rightful Prime Minister to support King Charles's activities. And we will keep you informed with what will be coming up when that time comes. I think sometime next week, we shall sort of get an announcement with who would have taken on the office and who King Charles III will be handing over those instruments of the prime ministership office. So that's that with the politics, guys. But on the other hand, we have the Prince and Princess of Wales who haven't been seen in public for the last few days. Many people have been reporting them missing, asking themselves, where is William and Kate? Where have they vanished? We want them, we can't see them anywhere. You know, when William and Kate when they vanish from the public, everybody gets a little bit worried because we know how much those two restore hope and glory, especially when it comes to royalty. But worry no more because they have decided to take a step back and look after their children during the half-term holidays. Those of you who live here in United Kingdom will know that we usually have the half-terms every now and then. And of course, we have the winter break coming up. And so the schools have closed down for a week. In certain parts of the country, that week started last week, and in other areas like where I live, that week is starting tomorrow, Friday. So William and Kate took a step back from royal duties to go and spend some time with their children who are on holidays. So that's why we are not seeing them in the public at the moment. And apparently they are spending time in the kitchen, cooking food and doing all sorts of activities with their children, because obviously that is what happens with parents and their children over school holidays. They haven't traveled anywhere. They are spending some time with their children in Windsor. And of course, we know that the children love baking. You saw the video last time when Prince George was baking. And also we know that Charlotte and Louis are also very much in contention with, with Prince George on who is the best cook and baker in the house. So apparently there are little competitions taking place in William and Catherine's home. And of course, being supervised fully by William and Kate themselves, who have decided, yes, to embark on several activities as they spend time with their children at home. So that's really, really great, because many people were always wondering who looks after Catherine and William's children. They are always out and about and all that, but no, William and Kate actually spend time with their children. They actively get involved in cooking and in doing those home chores with their children, just like every sensible and responsible parent does. Don't forget, these are the Prince and Princess of Wales, very, very busy individuals, but they always find that time to spend with their family. So William and Kate, yes, that's where they have been looking after their children for this whole week. So probably the next time we see them in the limelight is after the school holidays. Elsewhere, of course, we know Sophie, Countess of Wessex, returned from her tour of East Africa. She's also very, very tired. Apparently, she's taking some time off to sort of catch her breath. She has had such a breathtaking tour. She has done some awesome work in Africa. She went as far as Mozambique, Congo, Rwanda, Malawi, all these East African states that are very much loyal to the Commonwealth. And of course, she went there on behalf of His Majesty, the King Charles III, who always sends them on these brilliant royal missions abroad. Elsewhere, of course, we also know that a lot has been going on in the world of the Meghan and Harrys. I don't know where to start, but most of you who have been following up on these stories here at Francis Page Media, you will know that there is a lot of controversy at the moment surrounding Meghan and Harry. And a lot of that, of course, has to do with their behavior, the interviews they give, and their upcoming events. So, first of all, we know that their documentary with Netflix was postponed. It was pushed to a later date. Apparently, we hear because it was going to collide with season 6 of The Crown. But again, there have been arguments that the reason it was pushed till next year is that it would have been very, very early to film the to air the documentary, because most of what is in that documentary is against the royal family. There are views that are very sensitive to the royal family. Meghan, of course, and Harry talking about their family in ways that will not appeal to the royalists and the royals, and of course, especially after we had just lost Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. It would be really tormenting for Netflix to put out a documentary that is intended to bring down the royal family. So they decided to hold that until later next year. But the new dates haven't been released yet for when they will be airing that. But what we know is that it was supposed to air somewhere around December time, but they pushed that to next year. So that isn't really, really good news for Meghan and Harry. Of course, they paid them so much money to do the work in these documentaries. But when we have the documentaries being put off till later, this means that we could never get to see them as well. Okay, we could never, these documentaries could never get to be aired, because the more they push them away, the more the more people start reading into them. And of course, there is a lot of people and negative reviews aimed at Netflix for sort of working with Meghan and Harry on these documentaries, which are meant to be bringing down the royal family. So Netflix is losing so many people in subscriptions. Many are unsubscribing from these giant streamers because they think their programs are becoming too dangerous to the royal family that royalists love so much. But again, that brings me to Meghan Markle's recent Variety interview. Have you guys watched that? Have you listened to it? Again, another very controversial interview. This would be the first interview Meghan gave since the death of Her Majesty the Queen, and boy, it wasn't good. It wasn't positive. It might have been because Meghan again wanted to sort of attract people's attention. Maybe she wanted to again play a victim in these interviews, but things haven't gone well since she aired that interview with Variety. Now, we know Variety is a US-based newspaper, very, very popular. So people are always going to listen to these conversations. And of course, these conversations reached so many people. But everybody who heard whatever Meghan said in that interview was left wondering, why on earth is she still giving these interviews? Why isn't she seeking help with what to say? Why isn't she thinking twice before speaking? Because again, in this interview that she gave to Variety, apparently she took a swipe at the royal family. She talked about the Queen, of course, being a great leader. She was. And of course, she talked about how the Queen will be inspiring so many generations to come. And then people are wondering, if that was your way of thinking about Queen Elizabeth, why then did you go on the Oprah Winfrey interviews and talk about Queen Elizabeth in a different light? Wasn't that being hypocritic? So can they take Meghan for the truth? But anyway, she went on again to say, amidst all that the Queen's death again was problematic to her husband, Prince Harry. And by that, of course, many royalists interpreted that as saying that when the Queen died, Prince Harry became isolated as a result. Prince Harry wasn't welcome during that season of mourning. Again, she praised her husband, Prince Harry, for remaining positive. Apparently, she said Prince Harry was the only optimistic royal during the whole occasion. Such words that undermined the rest of the royals. So this interview didn't really go down for royalists who know what the royal family means to us, and of course people who know what Meghan has always been doing to the royal family. The moment she opened her mouth to speak, everybody knew what she was going to say in these interviews. Now, of course, she blamed the royal family for not informing Prince Harry enough after Queen Elizabeth died. Again, this was an insult to the royal family, because when you bring those conversations back and throw them into people's faces, it's like you're putting the royal family on the spotlight. Okay, so she said that Prince Harry almost got to know about Queen Elizabeth is dead, just as the whole world was getting to learn about it. Okay, so she went on to say that Prince Harry was not informed soon enough. But again, we very much know that there were some issues going on in the background during the Queen's death. Apparently, the family got in touch with Prince Harry and told him to come spend that last moment with Queen Elizabeth with the rest of the family. However, Harry was not allowed to bring his wife along with him, just as William wasn't going to bring Catherine along with him. But of course, Prince Harry took it in a different light, thinking again that his wife, Meghan, had been again segregated or single-handedly left out. Okay, so that led to some sort of arguments behind the scenes, and which later led to Prince Harry arriving late for the to find Queen Elizabeth still alive. But during the interviews, of course, Meghan did not speak about that. However, she just put it out there that Prince Harry wasn't told. Prince Harry was not informed until the rest of the world, nearly 5 minutes to the time the rest of the world got to learn about Queen Elizabeth's death. So she took a swipe at the royal family in so many ways during this interview. And that, since then, has led to a backlash with many subscribers unsubscribing from Variety magazine. You know that every association or every organization that is going to associate itself with Meghan has to think twice, because when Meghan says whatever she says against the royal family, this organization or these establishments that are working with Meghan are always going to take the blame. They are always going to take the backlash. And this is affecting these establishments in so many ways. Now, we know how many people have unsubscribed from Netflix since Netflix took on projects with Meghan and Harry. We had the other day when the One Young World Association, most of you know that association, it's, Meghan came back to UK to attend that summit, and she gave a speech with One Young World and all that stuff. And weeks later, One Young World is now being investigated against the fraud and stuff that is going on in the establishment, apparently, with its owners being sort of blamed for paying themselves huge salaries of aid that people are donating to this establishment. Again, that would not have happened probably if Meghan had not associated herself with this establishment. And they are not doing it because they hate Meghan for associating or working or doing her activities with the organizations, but they are doing it because Meghan herself and the way she portrays herself, the community, the language, the things she says always attract that attention that want people to prove, right, let's see who is working with her, what is their credibility. And through doing that, of course, she is putting a lot of people in trouble. So again, for this Variety interview that she gave recently with this US-based magazine, people are now starting to read into Variety's activities, and they are actually starting to think twice about their subscriptions. Okay, so you better be very careful if you're an establishment out there that is intending to work closely with Meghan and Harry. Because for as long as they are against the royal family, they are against their family, I don't think they are going to be viewed in positive light. The royal family is so strong out there. It has built its reputation over years, and it's got a fan base all over the world. Now try to do something that demeans the establishment, the royal family, then you are going to end in so much trouble. So, that's that. But also to again, to talk about Meghan's interview, she talked about the show that she was on, and that is the Deal or No Deal. And she said that on that show, many of you who maybe watched the show or know what the show is, Meghan said that she was treated as a bimbo girl. Bimbo girl. They used to tell them to pimp themselves up, wear short dresses, and that the way they were treating them was demeaning to women. Now, that again has caused a lot of backlashes with stars, including Whoopi Goldberg. Most of you know Whoopi. She came out and said that those words were very, very derogative to women, because to get that job, women contest. Women go through a lot of interviews to try and land a place on that program, when it was being aired. And Meghan would have gone through the same sort of process, interviews, writing tests maybe, and all that. And to get onto that show, of course, you needed to have a certain level of education, sensibility, responsibility. But Meghan again turns around and says that she was treated like a piece of trash on the show, being told what to wear, what to say, and all those things, clearly telling us that she wasn't grateful for that job. Okay, it is a job that gave her that first break. Nobody knew about Meghan until she got in front of television. And from there, she got her first break. She got those connections that led her into Suits. Okay. So the wise thing to say would have been appreciating that job for having put her on the map at the time. But no, she didn't say that. However, she went and said that the job was very demeaning to her. And to the women who were doing that job, most of them saw that as an insult to them, because they thought it was a good career. They thought it was great for them to be on the show. They had such a once in a lifetime opportunity. Yet Meghan again stood up and said it was crap. It did this to women and that. So that didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. And stars are coming up again to criticize her for those words. And most of the ladies as well who were on the show have expressed their sort of sadness towards Meghan for those words she said, because they thought they were happy, and they don't even recall any time that they were forced to do things that they didn't want to do. But then again, Meghan told us that the job was A, B, C, D. It was demeaning. It was, it sort of, it knocked her confidence out. And of course, she told lies and lies, as she always does. What do you guys think about that Variety interview? Do you agree with what Meghan said? Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And of course, if you would like to share any other sort of thoughts regarding Meghan, her documentaries that have been postponed till later date, please also leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you think that documentary should be scrapped for good? Because we know that King Charles isn't necessarily happy with whatever projects Meghan and Harry are doing, because in these projects are things that are going to demean the royal family. Now we know Judi Dench, who is a popular actor, of course, and a very, very close ally with the royal family, is one of those stars who most recently came out to discredit Netflix and the documentaries that they are working on with Meghan and Harry, saying that those should not even be put in program to be aired, because they are sort of fighting against the royal family in these documentaries. Okay. but also the whole Netflix series of The Crown. Some of these episodes have got elements that are again going to be sort of harming the royal family in so many ways. I think there is a scene that is going to play King Charles III and his alleged affair with Camilla back in the days. Things which are not really, really going to sound as good music in so many people's ears, including the royal family. So we are having stars coming up to discredit Netflix, stars coming up to challenge Meghan and Harry to stop their behavior that is really, really demeaning the royal family. What do you guys have to say? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Let us have a conversation here. Francis Page Media, of course, is always where you come to catch up with the latest in the world of our royals. Our subscribership has grown, guys. We are pushing up and onwards every day. 52K now, and we are still climbing. It's all because of your support, and it's all because of you turning up to these live messages every day to again offer support to this royal news channel. Please keep up, share these lives with your friends, pop up on these videos, comment on them, because the more we do that, the more we push these channels' messages forward. So that is pretty much that is going on in the world of our royals, guys. Prince Harry's upcoming book is yet to be, again, the date is yet to be announced. We know that in that book, again, he is going to be talking a lot about his family, about his sort of broken relationship with his dad, about his falling out with his brother, who he said is trapped in those Oprah Winfrey interviews. So that book, again, has been put on hold as we speak. Everything for Meghan and Harry is being put on hold. Let us not forget they are paid millions of money to produce this work. But for as long as the work is always going to be put on hold, this is going to be damaging to their reputation, damaging to their productivity, and of course the credibility of whether they can be trusted to produce. Okay, of course we know there is an article which came out a few days ago, and many people were blaming again Meghan for victimizing herself. They were talking about Meghan as playing a victim all the time. They looked at her Archetypes podcasts, and the theme of the podcast always blaming the royal family for her failures. And people are wondering, are you going to build an identity on these sort of views, these sort of thoughts that haven't convinced us yet? What are you on about? So many people were saying that if you want to really, really win people's hearts and come back into their hearts like you used to be back in the days before you ran away with Prince Harry, you need to start building your own identity away from this blame culture of the royal family, away from talking about how your life did not work out during your royal days because they did this to you, they did that to you. And they were right, because all that Meghan does when she gets that microphone is to start blaming the royal family, blaming people for the mistreatment of her husband. Okay. People were saying you need to come up with a product that is going to be called your own. You need to talk about things that are far away from the royal family. Okay. Great to see you. Hi, Tea and Therapy UK. Thank you so much for joining. Hey, we were meant to do a live at some point. I don't know what happened. We have both had a very, very busy week. But thank you so much, my friend, for showing up. Keep up the great work you're doing, Tea and Therapy UK. And your work on your TikTok channel is also making wonders. So really, really grateful that we connected. But guys who are on the show, let us welcome Tea and Therapy UK. She is another very popular royalist, and she talks about Meghan and Harry quite often, helping us to sort of see what these two are really like. I just like your analysis of those two, T and Therapy UK, and I think we share so much in common when it comes to analyzing these two individuals who are proving to be problematic to the royal family. So, yes, we'll get that sorted sometime probably next week. It has been quite a busy week. Guys who know me here, I'm also a careers coach. So I do careers education, careers work in secondary school, advising people on how to write good CVs, how to pass job interviews. So it is always very busy during daytime. I'm always in schools running around like a headless chicken. But since holidays now are here for a week, all schools are closed down for a week, maybe tea and therapy, we could sort out something going forward. Please let me know later what your timings are like so we can strike a deal here and get to share some brilliant thoughts here with our royal fans. But guys, thank you so much for supporting this channel. We are growing steadily. I know that my times of coming live here vary sometimes because I'm trying to find out the best time since I've got fans all over the world. Most of my fans actually in United States because US people are very interested in knowing more about the royal family. So it's really, really difficult to sort of find the right time to do these lives. So I try to just do it as of when these stories pop up to say so. But I'm so grateful for all of you who turn up. Tea and therapy, yes, we shall get that sorted. And guys, if you're not following me on TikTok, I'm also there, Francis Page Media. I use Instagram, but not much, but I want to start paying more attention to Instagram and posting there much as well, because we want our fans to sort of get these messages across all these other platforms. I had someone ask me the other day that, do you have any other, say, for example, lives you do on Instagram? Do you have Facebook? I don't do Facebook because most of you, as you know, I'm a former Queen's Guard, and during that time, we had a bit of a security risk with Facebook, with many people hacking into our Facebook profiles to try and gain access to the information we had with royals and try to get to know our timings, where we were going to be, so they follow us up. And remember that as a Queen's Guard, I worked in all these palaces. Windsor Castle, where I was based. I worked at St. James Palace, where King Charles was at the time with Camilla before she became the king. The Tower of London, Kensington Palace. So we were all over these places, you know, working, of course, making sure that our royals were safe. So we were being trailed by people via our Facebook pages and all that stuff. So, and one of our colleagues actually got in trouble. Most of you might know him, Lee Rigby. So he was murdered. He was murdered sometime back in Woolwich, some area in London. And, you know, his murderers trailed him over Facebook. So we were advised to tread very carefully with Facebook. And since then, most of us left Facebook. And when I did, I've really, really never found a reason to get back on Facebook. Maybe I might just try to go back just to make sure our royal fans can also get to learn of what we share in terms of our royals, because I definitely know that there are some people who are not here on YouTube, but they can access Facebook more easily, and others are better with Instagram. So I think it's finding a balance. But at the moment, I'm very happy with my lives here on YouTube. It's very nice and easy and swift. And of course, I've built such a big fan base here with you guys. And so this is where I think I'm calling home for now. But on TikTok as well, guys, short and sharp messages. Thank you again for your support. We recently had a viral post. And that post was about Meghan's trip to Morocco. Again, I put that post up, and since then it went viral. It has been shared on Twitter by somebody. They didn't credit me for the post, because they literally pulled it off TikTok as I put it, and they placed it on Twitter, and it started trending on Twitter as well. The post was written about by so many social media agencies. Newsweek featured the post in their last week's Royal edition. So if you log into Newsweek, you will find out that my post got featured there, of course, talking about Meghan and Harry and how Royal Protocol kicked her out of Morocco. But yes, we are spreading these messages, and we just want to show the world that our royal family is very strong, that there are elements within the royal family that are trying to break it down. But we have had this family around for years and years. So whoever is always going to come and try to break it down will always end up in big, big trouble. History has it that all those who have tried to discredit the royal family have ended up in places that they never wanted to. Okay, so I think with Meghan here taking on the royal family in ways that she is doing, she is putting herself in so much trouble, because so you are seeing what is going on right now in their world. Netflix wanting to cancel projects, people unsubscribing from projects that are working with Meghan, companies being scrutinized for working with Meghan. Okay, Harry himself is now a lost man in the United States because he can't even find a job there. He's considered too risky to work with. Okay, he got himself a job apparently as a chief impact officer in an organization in the United States. That was it. We have never heard how far he got on with that job. But could he even do the job? We know that when he was still in the royal family, Harry used to get everything on a silver plate. Things were being given to him. Things were being done for him. Okay, so tell me how he can manage outside of the royal family, especially when he has teamed up with a woman who is very selfish, a woman who is always about me, 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 me. We know how much Meghan praises herself, even with projects that have been Harry's. Even just a mere standing up to give a speech, Harry rarely features in her speeches. Now we are going to look at William and Kate. For example, when William goes on an engagement with Catherine and he stands up to give a speech, the thing William will start with will be myself and Catherine. Likewise, when Catherine does so, Catherine has her opening line, William and I are so pleased to be here with you right now. William and I are embarking on this project. We are so honored to have your support. Thank you for supporting us. So this is how Catherine and William go about their work. They work as a unit. They complement each other. Now, this is what we haven't seen in Meghan and Harry. When Meghan and Harry turn up for organizations, for charity events, for projects, we are always seeing a Meghan who is always at the front foot, praising herself. Poor Harry sat down there in the shadows. Even the podcasts that Meghan is doing right now, you never really hear Harry feature in these podcasts in any positive light. Maybe we will get a glimpse of her saying that my husband wasn't treated fairly. Then again, painting Harry in a sort of victim mode. This isn't what people like saying. Okay, so there is a very big chance that Prince Harry will find himself back here, will struggle to cope in United States, because I think Meghan is using him as a stepping stone. Now, nobody knew Meghan a few years ago until, well, Meghan was there, apart from, being on Deal No Deal and maybe playing an actress in Suits. That was about it. But since she got married to Prince Harry, that is when Meghan actually stepped up to become known around the world. Okay, because obviously she got married to a prince who was popular, a British royal. And what does she do after that? She pulls him out of the royal family. She isolates him in the United States, takes him away from his family, because that is what you do to somebody if you want to control them. Now, after taking him there, Harry is always in the background. She has already got what she wants. She goes ahead with, me, building her own profile, praising herself for accomplishing tasks. Okay, which is really sad. But again, when we come here and have these conversations, we are unpicking and uncovering who the true Meghan is. And when you have someone like that try to bring the royal family with such negative credibility that she has, you will agree with me that she won't be going any far in building an image she wants. Okay. She expressed interest in running as a politician in the United States. Now, we know very much that royals are not supposed to engage in politics in one way or the other, active politics. And although she's no longer in rather a working royal, that does not mean she's not a royal. She married into the royal family. Some of these principles have to be grounded within you, whether you're serving or not. But we are already seeing her in the United States expressing interest to run for a public office, talking about women's rights and saying they are being violated and being silenced. And of course, she's making reference to the royal family, and now she thinks she was stopped from being the woman she wanted to be. And look at Catherine. Catherine is still in the royal family. She has achieved a lot. So now, if Meghan says you cannot achieve things as a woman being in the royal family, does that mean she's discrediting Catherine for all her achievements? Because Catherine has achieved a lot being the royal family. Princess Anne, she's a woman. She's doing all these things. Very renowned royals. Okay. And this is another one before I finish. So Meghan, in her recent interview, of course, said that she is Netflix should find somebody. When they find somebody to play Meghan in the future, she would like to train that somebody how to be a Meghan. Okay, how to be a Meghan. I found that really interesting. She's even already expressing interest to be played in The Crown. Her character to be played there, because that is Meghan again, wanting to be known, to be in the limelight, to be talked about. Okay, can you imagine? Because you know that they were looking for people to play William and Kate. Can you imagine Catherine saying that she wants to meet somebody who is going to play Catherine and train them how to be Catherine? You wouldn't want to do that. You would want these things to work, to speak for them. So you wouldn't even associate yourself with such conversations. But of course, Meghan being Meghan, we know she, of course, has an acting background. We know where she has come from to be where she is right now. And of course, these controversies have always been part of her game. We know the relationship with her family, and which isn't in great books, so that broken sort of relationship and the experiences, the behaviors, and her narratives over time that she has been through are the same narratives she's applying to her life going forward. How to be Meghan a lying narcissist bully. Can you imagine? Hi, Ralph. I haven't seen you for ages. Great to see you on this live. Ralph there. I know that was very, very funny because I really, really couldn't stop laughing at that. And she said, "Oh, I will teach them how to play Meghan. How to my character is a special character, and I'm putting myself forward to whoever wants to play my character to come here and take some cues of me." That isn't how things work. Okay. Hi, Lily. Thank you so much for joining this live today. Of course, another very, very great fan of this channel. Lily, I'm so appreciative of your support. Thank you so much. Ralph says Meghan Markle only cares about Meghan Markle. That's why it was never going to work as a royal. Indeed. 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 And I think her true colors are now coming out. Of course, there were rumors that Prince Harry, Meghan wanted to come back into the royal fold, but those rumors have now since been put to bed because I can't see these two coming back to mix with other royals. One, simply because there isn't any more trust. Trust is such a very important element if you're coming to work with the royal family among the royals. So today you say this, tomorrow you say the other. You talk trash about your family. The statements these two made during the Oprah Winfrey interviews were very, very, very difficult statements for the royal family. Of course, saying that King Charles III was trapped and is still trapped. William is still trapped. And Harry always insists on saying, me and my brother are walking a different path. That means something. And William is very, very cross with his brother because we know how close these two were growing up. But to see how things have panned up for his brother is very sad. And I think he sits down there and thinks, whoa, will he ever clean up his mess? So Ralph, my friend, thank you for reminding us of that. Very, very happy to see you. What have you been up to, Ralph? Have you been well? You have missed a few live streams, but great to see you here. And guys, welcome aboard again. Tea and Therapy UK, another very, very awesome royal commentator. She talks a lot about Meghan and Harry, and she is actually very, very popular with her messages of hope, positivity, and strength for the royal family. So we are growing as a team, royal commentators in support of the royal family. Hey, 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 hey. We are growing, we are strong. We want to see this family live on for as long as it can. Because first and foremost, like most of you who are in Great Britain, you see what is going on in our country right now. Prime ministers coming in office, staying for 44 days, the recent one, Liz Truss, telling us lies. They are going to be doing this, they are doing that. And then in the morning they change their thoughts to again doing this and putting a lot of putting us into a lot of difficulty. So there isn't trust in our politicians. We can't trust them. So the only safe place for us is within our royals, because we know that our royals are a little bit, because we know King Charles III, the Queen, he's the head of state, but their role is a little bit neutral. Therefore, they aren't immersing themselves in the dirty politics that is really, really causing heartache to people. And that's why we love them. They offer that alternative, that safe space for us to still believe that, yes, leadership exists, and that's what good leaders do. Okay, so that's why we are here supporting the royal family, trying to bring down all those who are opposed to the royal family. But with Meghan and Harry, it's not even bringing them down, but it is showing the whole world that these were people who were once loved, within the royal circles. They were once loved by the public, but because of their behavior, actually, those who loved Meghan and Harry so much are people who now don't like them so much. I won't use the word hate, because hate is actually a very strong word. Okay. I didn't recognize Sylvia Randall there as our new fan here on this channel. She pops up every now and then. Sylvia, great to always see you on these lives. Thank you so much. Yes, tea and therapy, please keep that in your diary. We need to come live here together so we can sort of, again, break down these messages into small biteable sizes that we can debate on, to just try and show our fans what, Meghan and Harry are headed to, But we shall always win. We are winners. Catherine, William, the future of the royal family. We know their recent promotion into the Prince and Princess of Wales now bring them closer to being the heirs to the throne. And when William becomes the king, of course, Catherine will be the queen. They are in Windsor right now because they initially moved there to be closer to Queen Elizabeth and offer that support. And unfortunately, the Queen wasn't here with us much longer, but they are still very much there in Windsor, and they are living within minutes away from Meghan and Harry's Frogmore Cottage. And guess what? When Meghan and Harry were back here for the funeral, even despite these couples living closer to each other, William and Catherine did not spend that time with Meghan and Harry. That is how much trust has disappeared. William Kate can't trust their brother anymore. And Ralph here says, loyalty, dignity, empathy, respect, and restraint are the epitome of the royal family. Harry and Meghan don't have those qualities. 100%. Ralph, thank you so much for highlighting that. And of course, when Meghan arrived, she was really, really shocked actually to find out that Catherine, was always going to be ahead of Meghan, because when she arrived, she thought she's super intelligent. This American girl who speaks like this, who was an actor and all that stuff. She has actually disappointed so many Americans because they thought she was going to represent them in the royal family. But whatever she has done now is actually the opposite of what they expected from her. And that's why many Americans really feel very disappointed. If you are an American and you are on this live, please, you will agree with me that most of you were really, really disappointed with Meghan and her character within the royal family. Okay. But you're very, very right there, Ralph. I think Meghan she's not suited for being a royal. I think she belongs into the acting world. When you look at all her interviews, there is an an element of acting, how she speaks, okay, mirroring certain actors' voices, and you can see that she can't speak from a position of being natural, if you know what I mean. Now, if you compare to how Catherine portrays herself, you will see that there is a big gap between Kate and Meghan. I think Kate was raised to be a royal, even if she's not royal blood. But when you see how she behaves, how humble she is, and how respectful, Kate respects people within the royal fold. She respects Princess Royal Anne, Sophie, everybody. King Charles has a very, very good relationship with Catherine. Most of you saw how King Charles blew that kiss on the, was it Platinum Jubilee celebration somewhere? I don't remember. I think it was by, where was the Platinum Jubilee? I'm even forgetting. Where was the Platinum Jubilee service? Was it at St. Paul's Cathedral somewhere, I remember? But we saw how, again, King Charles was very close to William and Catherine, simply because these two are very respectful. They make him proud. They make the royal family proud. Now Harry walks away, starts doing this against the royal family. Harry meets a woman within 6 months. His narrative changes. He starts turning against his own family. And it's highly likely that this was an act of being, what is the word, guys? Remind me, what's that word? What is the word when someone sort of influences you to do something bad? There is a word. It has skipped my mind. If you can drop that in the comments, I will really be honored. Right, Sylvia Wong says, very, very sad. Indeed, 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 very sad. I don't know where this will all end, but what we hope is that one day Harry gets to realize that back here with his family is where he belongs. And Harry will need to issue a public apology for whatever he has said against his own family, a family that really, really loved him so much. And they still love him. And trust me, guys who are here, when things go bad, it's still the royal family that is going to pick up Harry's pieces. 100%. I know that. So he better treads very carefully, because usually the people he's blaming are the people who are going to have his back when things start not going right. Of course, we know things are already desperate in their lives. Projects being cancelled, postponed, things not working out. Harry's Invictus Games project, which is due next year in Germany, is starting to struggle with funding. Okay, with many organizations pulling out, and it is going to be taking place in Berlin, Germany, a very, very expensive city. So again, those worries are there for Harry. His projects, the Netflix projects, $100 million projects, whatever they are. His book, which was it 20 million US dollars, which hasn't been published. This was all money paid somehow in installments to Harry and Meghan. But if these projects are not aired or featured, there is a likelihood of demanding this money to be returned. Where is it going to come from when they have already used it? Right, guys, I think I've had a lot to say today, and it's been great having you. I usually keep these lives to 1 hour, and then try to catch up with you guys again later on in the week. But whatever thoughts you have, thank you for sharing them, leaving them here in the comments section below. We are a great team. Everybody who's been here, Ralph, Lily, Tea and Therapy, you are all awesome. Sylvia, We've had some of our friends that we haven't seen for a while. I hope they are doing really well. They usually turn up on these lives, but as I said, the timing is always an issue for some people, so they will always catch up with these lives whenever they can. But that is what has pretty much been going on in our Royals world. Just to recap with what we started with, His Majesty the King, Charles III, will be welcoming his second Prime Minister since taking over as the King. Liz Truss has tendered her resignation today, making her the the shortest serving Prime Minister in British history. Again, Prince Charles has made history alongside by being the first king to inaugurate two prime ministers in quick succession. T. Randall pops up finally here. Harry is as crazy as Meghan. His mother sought help for him when he was young and continued therapy until he met Meghan. Absolutely. T. Randall, great to see you, by the way. It's been a while. But yes, you are very, very right. You couldn't have written that statement perfectly. You guys, I really adore you. Christine Anderson, you have been missing. I was very, very close to reporting you missing. Great to see you on these lives. How have you been? How have you been, Christine? Great to see you. And yes, we have had such an interesting conversation here. It is always fireworks on these lives, and we try to unpick people who are against the royal family and try to put them to where they belong. Okay, Tea Therapy, if you're still on this live, you will agree with me. And then we've got Natalie here from United States. I enjoyed this chat. Oh, Natalie, you've been on here. Thank you so much. US, you are supporting these messages. If I've got my UK fans on these lives here, they will agree with me that your support coming from across the Atlantic is immense to keeping this channel running. Okay, so we really appreciate the support you show not only to us here, but also to the royal family. You have held your stance very strongly against Meghan, saying, right, we know that you said all that you have said over time, but we don't believe in you. And because of that, we are seeing these sort of conversations come up. We are seeing so many US media channels standing up again saying, Meghan, you are a disgrace to the royal family. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, from US. Christine, what part of United States? Sorry, Natalie, what part of United States are you? It would be great to know where you're from. And yes, I will be back here again in the next 3 days. So also, maybe if there is a very hot story that pops up, but I will always be coming up here. Lily, I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for always showing up on these lives. Lily Page here has been part of these lives from day one. I truly appreciate your support. Without you, this channel would be nowhere. Ralph, you guys are extremely awesome. Okay, so let us keep these messages going. And please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Comment if you are, comment here always, because your comments really help us to direct our messages in directions that are more meaningful. Other than that, I'm very honored. Okay. Right, so I will sort of wrap up this. Christine is from Chicago. Greetings from Chicago there, Christine. Chicago is one of those places I really want to travel to. And of course, I used to, there's a musician I used to listen to back in the days. He was from Chicago, R. Kelly. Sad that things ended the way they did for him. But when you talk about Chicago, it reminds me of the music. It's such a very iconic place, Chicago is. But thank you so much for coming up on these lives, Christine. Maybe we need to throw a party sometime, guys. We really need to. When we get to maybe 60K or 55, we will throw a party. And I promised I will put that party at Buckingham Palace. Trust me. Buckingham Palace, either somewhere in front of the gate, or I'll try and see if I can book in the Buckingham Palace Gardens. I have some really, really good contacts, having been there for years and years. I'm sure I can set up a small table in the back garden of Buckingham Palace just to throw a virtual party with you, my dear friends. But I'm so thankful for your support. So I'm going to end this live here. Sorry, I was sort of briefly talking about what we have been talking about. King Charles III to welcome his new Prime Minister, second Prime Minister in a row, just after welcoming Liz Truss 40 days ago. William and Kate are on their break because their children are in holidays. Those of you in UK know that we are having a winter break for a week. Some areas are having 2 weeks. So William and Kate took a step back from royal duties to spend some time with their children. And apparently they are doing a lot of cooking activities with the kids in the kitchen. So this is messages coming right from inside Windsor Castle. And so Sophie is back and settling in. The royals are sort of a little bit quiet these days because of this winter recession, winter break. King Charles has been quite around a bit with Camilla. Again, they are trying to put themselves out there more. King Charles having taken on as the king recently, of course, he is expected to up his game. And so far he is doing this. He's been all around Scotland and he's been to Wales. And I think we haven't seen him travel abroad since becoming the king. He was due to go to Rwanda, but he didn't because, of course, of the timetabling issues. But we will get to know the next wave of royal engagements that will be released come after this winter break. You will always be the first to know, guys, here on this channel. But other than that, I am going to sign off from here now. And as always, let us catch up very soon. Have a brilliant weekend. Natalie, thank you so much for that acknowledgement. And of course, as a former Queen's Guard, I'm still very much a royal very much loyal to the royal family. I attend activities of the royal family. I'm still very much a reserve guard. So I go to help if there is a shortage. So don't be surprised if you see my face pop up on some of these royal events because I'm still very much in support of our royal family. But guys, I think before this phone dies down, because I'm using the phone, the battery has already worn, I'm going to sign off for tonight and wish you all an awesome rest of the week and probably the weekend, which is here. Have fun, stay healthy, keep up with this awesome support. Bye bye, guys.